Arne, obviously Federico hasn't travelled. He has been added to the Champions League squad though, so what's the situation with him?
Yeah, he got a little niggle, I think is the word you use here in England. So in the last game against Palace, so he tried it today. He was on the pitch in the beginning, but he couldn't end the session. So we decided not to take him because in a few days it's Chelsea again.
The obvious answer is a win, but also in terms of the performance as well, what's the key element that you're really looking for in terms of a reaction to the disappointment of Saturday?
I think we always have to do, no matter if we win, lose or draw, what is asked from you if you want to compete for trophies, but let alone if you wear the Liverpool shirt, and that is giving everything you have and combine that with the best football you can play. And I think, especially in the second half, we created during the course of the game against Palace more chances than we've created in all the 3 games we've played before against Palace. But we conceded also much more chances than we did before when we played Palace. So we can definitely improve on a few things. And the things we can improve, I will show tonight. Not to you, by the way, but to the players.
Öncelikle Türkiye'ye hoş geldiniz. Kararı gazetesi.
Welcome to Turkey, first of all. You are probably record-breaking in the world football, but I mean, since 2021, with Liverpool, with Feyenoord and other teams, you have been ahead in 170 games and lost in very few matches in those matches that you became ahead. So when you score and become ahead, you lose a very few matches. What's the reason behind that? And also, secondly, you have brought a lot of strikers, a lot of star players to your team. And Galatasaray bought Osimhen, Victor Osimhen. Was Osimhen on your agenda during the summer transfer window to bring your club? What would you say on that?
Those were a lot of questions. I wasn't aware of it. He told me that in 170 games that I'm managing now, most that we came 1-0 up or 2-0 up, that we won those games. Was the reason behind it? Yeah, the reason is always quite simple. I've been really fortunate to manage 2 very good clubs, 2 very good teams that are always playing in the top end of the table. So yeah, the players always make the difference. I don't know who asked, but that helps, of course, by winning so many games if you go 1 or 2-0 up. Yes, we've added 2 number 9s. How should I say this in the right way in English? Unfortunately is not the word I should use, but because of an enormous tragedy that happened with Diogo Jota, in the end we had to bring in 2 number 9s. We always thought we were going to replace Darwin Núñez with 1 number 9, but in the end we had to replace, not replace is not a good word, so I'm sorry if I don't use the right words, but we had to bring in 2 number 9s, and we're always looking for very good players, but it was always clear to us that from the start we wanted to bring in these 2 if we needed to.
In terms of possession, we are watching a Liverpool that tries to keep hold on to possession. But, for example, despite runs like by Burnley and others, we haven't been able to see a Liverpool that can really focus on attacks. And do you think you might have troubles in the future in attacking football despite having possessions? Are you having difficulty finding chances?
No, we don't play football to have possession. We play football to create chances and to score goals. And in most games we've played since I'm here, and I think that's the situation as long as Liverpool exists, they have more ball possession than the other team. And sometimes the other team doesn't bother. They are completely fine with the fact that we have more ball possession than them because they just defend really strong. And in modern football, it's more and more complicated because all teams are managed so well, are so fit. It's getting harder and harder to play through. And that's why we decided also to bring in good attackers, good players that can play in a front 4, that can help us unlocking those low blocks, but that's never easy, not for us, not for any team in the world.
Galatasaray has been defeated against Frankfurt. They conceded 5 goals. The previous match Galatasaray conceded 5 goals was against Beşiktaş, back when Giovanni van Bronckhorst was the coach of Beşiktaş. So, did you conduct many different talks or analysis with Van Bronckhorst, or did he inform you about some specifics, some tips that you can use on this match tomorrow against Galatasaray?
Giovanni van Bronckhorst is one of my assistant coaches, so he's part of the setup if we discuss and talk about the team we face, if that is Palace or Everton or Atletico Madrid, or in this situation Galatasaray. So he has knowledge about Turkish football. He knows these players, some of them that we're going to face tomorrow, maybe better than the rest of the staff does, because we've not worked in this league, we've not played against them. But in modern football, there are so many videos, you can watch so many games that every manager, even if you haven't worked here, know a lot about the other team. So yes, we've used Gio, as we've used the other assistant coaches as well. And that was a very special evening for him. They won the Super Cup, if I'm correct, in that evening. So special. He's known for winning a lot of trophies, Gio, in Holland, and he did this here as well. What was your other question? Their loss against Frankfurt. Yeah, I've watched that game, and for me, they were very, very, very, very unlucky in that game. The chances they gave away were only small, and it was either the quality of Frankfurt or a little bit of bad luck for Galatasaray that they conceded 5, because if the same game, they play the same game again, they will never, ever, ever concede 5 goals again in that same game, because they played much better than the 5-1 showed. And that's also what you see now in the beginning of the season here in Turkey. 7 wins, only conceded 2, if I'm correct. Scored a lot of goals, so a very, very good team with a very good manager that's been so successful over here as a player and as a manager. So they know what it takes to win the league, and they know what it takes to win a game of football. So we have to be prepared for that.
Ian.
Good evening, Arne. I know you've changed your fullbacks from last season, but at the start of last season you kept 6 clean sheets in your first 10 games. So far you've kept 2 clean sheets in your first 9 games. How would you analyse your defence this season?
No, I almost like that you asked me this question, because for me, defending is only a small margin, defenders. So I think one of our strengths was that we kept the other team away from our goal a lot. And that normally doesn't start with your defenders, that starts somewhere else. And if you then just look in it more detailed, we've conceded 4 goals from set pieces. So yeah, we've changed our fullbacks, but we've changed a bit more than only our fullbacks. And the goals we've conceded, I should look back at it in detail, but the first thing that comes to my mind is not that the fullbacks are our problem. It's always been a team performance last season. I said this many times. The reason why we hardly concede is that 11 players work incredibly hard to make it difficult for the other team to even create a chance. And that's what we've done this season many times as well. But you can work as hard as you want, but a set piece is almost a different game inside the game. That was, by the way, that would have been maybe an even better question. That was one of our main strengths last season, that we hardly conceded from set pieces. So we have to go back to that. We haven't changed our setup. We haven't changed anything. So we have to prove in the upcoming weeks and months that we were maybe a bit unlucky in conceding some set pieces. Because that can happen in 5 or 6 games. Difficult to see it for the long term. But this is something we definitely have to improve, because I also see teams in the Premier League that win games by set pieces, and we lose games because of set pieces.
James?
Arne, just in terms of how intimidating the atmosphere is going to be here tomorrow night, what does your team need to do differently to avoid gifting Galatasaray the initiative in the same way as Palace were allowed to be on the front foot so early on Saturday?
Yeah, that depends on what you mean with the initiative, because for me, Palace didn't have the initiative if you talk about ball possession, because even the first 8 minutes were perfectly fine for me, till we've conceded a corner, where you can debate, by the way, if it was a corner, yes or no. So you have to answer to the fact why I got a yellow. And then we conceded a corner, and then we've conceded too much chances, but it wasn't because they had the initiative. It was because they counterattacked us a few times really well, and we lost the ball in positions where we shouldn't lost it. So we have to do much better than this. I'm not sitting here telling you we played a good first half. I'm not telling you that having initiative in a game is something that is worth a lot. No, if you have initiative, it should lead to chances, and it should definitely not lead to conceding chances. But it wasn't that they were all over us. They counterattacked us a few times really well, and we didn't do as well as we had to do. And they played a few times the ball into our last line, where they won the second ball, and that is something we need to improve. But Galatasaray is a completely different team to Palace, but also a team that's very hard to beat, similar to Palace. 18 games without a loss, Palace. This team have won the first 7 games in the league. So that means that they are mentally also strong for difficult moments. If you win a lot, then you're also mostly mentally a bit stronger. So a very difficult team to face, but with a lot of qualities. But you cannot compare these teams. One is playing 5-4-1, the other one is playing 4-3-3. So different players, different manager, different formation.
Last question here, please.
So you have mentioned this as well about Galatasaray. 24 out of 91 goals scored by Galatasaray last season was from set pieces, including penalties. Just like you said, you have been really doing well last season in set pieces, but this year not as much. Galatasaray has Gabriel Sara, and very effective player in set pieces. But after İlkay Gündoğan was brought into the team, Gabriel Sara is now mostly a substitute. Do you think it will be an advantage for you that Sara might not play tomorrow in terms of set pieces, considering how effective he is in those?
No, I think you already gave the answer. We've shown that we are a team that can defend set pieces really well. But more and more in football, you see it becomes more and more a set piece game. And I know that set pieces are a part of football, but I watched Brentford Man United on the way up to Palace, and I saw, I think, 25 minutes of that game, and I think it was 20 minutes long throw-in, set piece, long throw-in, set piece, corner kick, goal kick. Goal kick's not a set piece, by the way. So this is the style of football you see more and more, in my opinion, mainly in the Premier League, and there's a reason for me why it's even more done in the Premier League than other leagues, because in the Premier League you can do much more. You can attack a goalkeeper, for example. You can even touch him, and then it's not even a foul. This is something everybody likes about the Premier League, but in Europe this is definitely a bit different. But we knew that Galatasaray is also strong in set pieces. But I can tell you that we've been a force in set pieces last season. We won our last Champions League game because of a set piece. We scored the 3-2 with Virgil. We were very, very, very close of scoring one against Palace. So yeah, every team you face at the moment, you have to be so well prepared when it comes to set pieces. So back in the days when I was still playing, we only talked about football. And there was not even a set-piece coach, let alone there was a set-piece meeting. Nowadays, set-piece meetings take just as long as the tactical meeting or the preparation for the game, football-wise. So that tells you the importance of we give to set-pieces, and I think every team around Europe gives to set-pieces.